Today on In Hops We Trust, 3 interviews, 3 states, and 3 different steps in the brewing process. We check out a hop farm in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Then it's off to a Jersey City bottle and homebrew supply shop to get a lesson in home brewing. And finally, we travel to Deer Park, Long Island, where an owner is handpicking all the craft beers for his bottle shop and grilling up some delicious melts.
In Hops We Trust.
We started producing this show because, well, to state the obvious, we love beer. But how often do we think about what goes into said beer? Today we're in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, at a hop farm by the name of Lion Bines. This is the founder of Lion Bines, Andrew Lyons. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm great, how are you?
Excellent. What inspired you guys to one day say, hey, you know what, just make a hop farm?
Well, I've always loved craft beer and the whole craft beer industry. My dad and I actually started home brewing together a few years back, and that kind of sparked my interest. So a couple of buddies of mine and we sat down and we were just talking about hops, and the idea and the opportunity of possibly doing a hop farm came up. And after that conversation, it was only a few months and we were already putting poles in the ground, and it just kind of became something I didn't even know was my passion, and I wouldn't do anything different.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to find that true thing that you love doing.
It's amazing. I had never even grown a hop plant, and then we ordered 900 of them, and it just kind of went from there.
Yes, do you guys want to go on a tour? All right.
It takes a few years for a hop farm to establish enough to be able to have a great yield. This is our 3rd season, so they're reaching that maturity level. We actually grow more Cascade than anything else here. Probably one of the best overall plants that we grow. Every one of our rows has 80 plants in it. So in total we have 260 Cascade plants. These probably have our best yield, and especially as we get into this year. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of cones, and when hop plants start to mature, they actually grow these long arms here that most of your hops will form on. Cascade is known for its kind of floral citrusy aromas and flavors, and there's some grapefruit in there. All in all, it's probably one of the most popular hops in the United States, and that's why we chose to grow this.
So tell us about the almighty Zeus.
What I'm holding in my hand are some Zeus cones, and
oh my
maybe a little hard to tell just the sheer size of them compared to the others. So they're very large. Wow. As you split them open, you can see all the yellow that's inside of there. That's your lupulin. Mm-hmm. That's essentially where everything in a hop comes from. Mm-hmm. That's where your flavor, that's where your aroma, your bitterness all come from that. And once it's that golden yellow, that's when you know that it's actually ready to harvest. Here we are in Chinook. This is my favorite hop, and my favorite hop to grow. Yeah. It's got a bit of a spice and floral note to it. A little bit of grapefruit, but pine really comes out, and I really like piney IPAs. Yeah. And they grow very well here, and they yield well, and their smell and their aroma is like no other compared to what we grow. If you want to take that, just kind of smash it in your hand. It's falling apart because it is very ready to go. You rub it in your hand, and you'll really smell it.
Ooh, wow, that is the best. Stinky. We've seen their hops up close. Now we're going to get an exclusive look on the harvesting of the Chinook hopland.
So what we're doing here, this is a harvester, a really small harvester. Basically what the purpose of it is to strip all the hop cones off the bines. So what this does, using a couple of belts and a blower, is allows the hops to come one way and all the leaves to go the other. Because you don't want to have to sort through all the hops and leaves, and this will strip both off of the plant. There's hops all over the world, wherever they're grown, are going to grow a little differently and have different flavors and aromas in them just based on their geographical location. So that's something we're still learning here in this area, but it'll be interesting to see how that kind of evolves.
Oh boy.
Hey, the In Hops We Trust app is the best way to follow all things In Hops related. On the app, you'll find the In Hops passport, rewards, crew info, updates on where we'll be for events, or where we might be filming next. The app is also the only place you'll be able to see certain content, like pre-release episode teasers or behind-the-scenes footage and exclusive content from event appearances. Our app is available on both iOS and Android devices, so please, go download it while I grab another beer. Oh, cheers. Hey, give me a tall boy.
The Thirsty Quaker in Jersey City is a no-nonsense outpost for homebrew supplies and bottle shop with over 800 varieties of craft beer. This is Kendall Alvarez, owner of the Thirsty Quaker in Jersey City. Kendall, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. Now, for a long time, philosophers have debated which came first, the chicken or the egg. For you, sir, which came first? Owning your own beer dispensary here or homebrewing?
Homebrewing. That's kind of what led to this too. We started a homebrew club about 10 years ago, the Jersey City Brew Club. I started with my roommate and a couple other people. And there's no homebrew shops in the entire county. We used to go out to Brooklyn to get our supplies. So there's a clear gap in the market. But a homebrew supply shop on its own wouldn't really survive. So I had the idea of pairing it with a craft beer store. And so that's how this was born.
Where does your passion for beer come from?
I just like making things, so I don't just make beer. I do wine and cider and mead, but also I've done cheese making, sake, soap making. I want to mess around with candles and paper. I like carpentry. I just like creating things and seeing how stuff works and the process behind it. And beer brewing is like that. It's like cooking. There's just so many things you can do with it. Today we're just using a little bit of grain for flavor. And then the rest of the fermentable sugar is going to come from malt extract, which is grain that's been malted, and then they either spray dried it into or condensed it into a syrup. So partial mash is like a really quick and easy way to brew. It doesn't require a lot of equipment or expertise. Grain gives you a little more flexibility with your recipes because you can kind of just brew whatever you want. So all grain's a lot cheaper. So we just dissolve that and we'll get this up to a boil and then we can start adding hops.
When you first started homebrewing, what were some of the difficulties that you realized? What were some of obviously the benefit is you get to drink your own beer.
Yeah.
What has propelled you from that to, now you want to say, teach other people how to homebrew?
When we kind of figured we could make our own beer, make it however we wanted, we all kind of focused on I can make all my beer 11% alcohol and just get bombed. Because we were all fresh out of college. But over time, I kind of figured that there's a lot more to it, and it's kind of nice to have a 3% easy drinking, whatever, or just a totally wacky flavored beer. So I like kind of showing people that you can just do whatever you want with it. And then as for challenges, in Jersey City, everyone's living in tiny apartments. It's tough to find space to brew or figure that out. So I think the most fun I have is teaching people how to brew in the space that you have. It's kind of getting back to a boil now. Hobson?
Oh, yeah, sure.
25 minutes. It's top edition.
Your store here, how fun is it? You get people in here and all you get to do is talk about beer.
People here are very chatty. It's not like, I think, a big box liquor store. You go in, check out, get out. We'll have a lot of people that just want to hang out and talk beer or whatever, and people love to tell us about whatever it is they're looking for or what they want to make, and it's just fun to hear what they have to say. The longer you boil hops, the more bitterness you get out of them, which is a function of the alpha acids. So usually when you use bittering hops, you get more bitterness out of them, less flavor and aroma. That's why we had two editions of hops. Ones at the beginning were for bitterness mostly. Ones at the end, you're going to just smell and taste more.
In your brewing experience, do you have any experiments that have just gone wacky or horribly wrong?
A while back, we had a guy show up to a brew club meeting who was visiting from Wisconsin, and he brought a blue cheese beer. Yeah, it tasted and smelled like blue cheese, and I like blue cheese, but it's not a beer flavor.
I wouldn't want to drink blue cheese. That sounds awful.
Hey, smash ice. Usually when people are just getting started off, they go with the ice bath method because it's cheap, doesn't require any equipment.
What's the temperature you're looking for it to hit?
As long as it's below 100, it should be fine. I can give you a taste of this, but it's really just going to taste like bitter sugar water.
This is the Ihwt. Woo! It's sugar grain.
You want to stir that for a minute? I'm going to shake my fermentation vessel to make sure it's fully sanitized.
Ralph, describe what it's like to stir that.
Well, I'm moving my arm in a circular motion, and it's causing the liquid to also move in a circular motion. It's science.
What's our temperature at? Oh, it's below 100.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our fermentation vessel. It's no rinse, so it doesn't like you just dump it out and then pour your beer right in, and it's perfectly safe. Let's sprinkle some of the yeast into our beer. The last step here is just our airlock needs to go in, and that's the brewing process.
All you unprofessional beer makers out there, please do try this at home.
Are you a fan of In Hops We Trust? Then check out our newest show, Beard Broads. Beard Broads explores the craft beer industry from the female perspective. Join us for tastings, tips, and fun facts about the broad world of beer. You can catch episodes on the Beard Broads playlist on the In Hops We Trust YouTube channel. Cheers, ladies!
Welcome to Deer Park, Long Island. Welcome to Hopscotch Bottle Shop, and welcome Mark Dublay, the owner of said bottle shop. How are you today, sir?
Good, thank you. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Mark, how did you come to own this place?
So my background is actually nutrition. I'm a dietitian by trade, diabetes educator, and also a home brewer. And so my love for food as well as great beer brought me here.
How long has this place been open for?
So we just hit the year mark a couple of months ago, and I don't know, overwhelmed with just happiness of what the town has actually, how they've supported me. It's just incredible.
It's a great local hangout. The guys are great. They're very into beer and they know what they're talking about.
So what's the kind of stuff that you like to bring in here? What do you look for?
What do I look for? Well, one, what people are requesting. That's usually the biggest thing. But also things that I love to drink, right? So I hand pick out everything that's in the store, work with at least 7 distributors, and then all of the privately independent breweries that I'm allowed to get from. I just try to bring in good stuff.
What's the farthest away state you get distributed here?
Belgium. So it's not even a state, a country, right?
Country, right.
Country. Belgium, I think that's probably the farthest. We've had everything from things from Belgium. We've had Japanese beers here, and then super local, like right down the block, Brewers Collective.
I noticed on your website there was something called Brews and Poems.
Brews and Poems was together by Color to Colors, and what we're currently doing is we're working with local black artists that have taken their poetry and put it on paper. So the poets actually got to come in, they picked out the beers or wines that they felt best matched their personalities. So if you come in and you purchase one of their books, you get their drinks, and then that money goes to the artists themselves.
All right, we got 2 of the 3 stars of the Work Podcast. Mike, Steve, Pete's here in spirit. Guys, how have you been?
Well, Ralph, it's been a rough go since we last spoke.
Absolutely. The world has changed.
You were close to one of the last shows that we did before this all turned very poorly. We, however, did very good on transitioning quickly into virtual-only podcast. Now we can reach out beyond the local Long Island area. We had a Non Sequitur on. We had 2 villains up in Nyack. Lost Worlds down in North Carolina. We had Hopsters, where we just finished brewing a beer, and we're actually going to release it right here at Hopscotch.
Yes. You guys have a solid fan base, so unless it's like really, really bad, you're going to have positive reception.
Well, and I've already said, I'm going to be the first one to critique it.
Right, you guys are the harshest critics of
I'm going to drink it and go, yeah, this sucks ass, and I'm leaving.
The trick is, if they say it's good before they swallow it, then you know they're
full shit. Yeah, if they're like, oh, this is so good.
Right.
Meanwhile, it's still up to the very top. There's no way you taste it. So that's our show in a nutshell.
If you ever want to try the food here, I will say that the cheesesteak is very good. It's served on a rustic bread. That is the first time I've used the word rustic in years.
All right, what is this?
This is our version of a French onion soup grilled cheese. So we use a smoked Gruyere cheese. And we have caramelized onions that are braised in beef stock. We put it on Italian bread.
Let's dig in this one right here. And you get the sweetness of the onion, nice little salty of the cheese. Oh my God.
It's a really great sandwich that goes with the beer too. So.
The food is excellent. Grilled cheese, they have pretzels, they have mozzarella sticks. It's great.
From a nutritionist standpoint, what advice would you give someone who wants to balance a semi-healthier lifestyle with
copious amounts of alcohol?
Exercise. That's it. Exercise.
Just keep moving and you'll be good. Keep moving. You can drink as much as this as you want.
Train your drinking arm.
In hops we trust.
Want another beer? Check out our channel, In Hops We Trust Film. There you'll get all our latest content, including new episodes, tastings, and all things In Hops related. Cheers! In Hops We Trust is an Ambassador Studios production.